Hey guys, I'm RedHerring, and it is time for another StarCraft 2 cast featuring the players RedHerring, spawning in the bottom right position of the map Tal'Darim Altar, and the top left, the Zerg player Turkis. Now, this is a Protoss versus Zerg, and I like to forge fast expand in this matchup just because I feel like you can. It's a relatively safe build. I mean, obviously you'll be pretty vulnerable to like the cheesy early pool, like 6 pool to 10 pool range type of aggression. But what I do here is I actually put the pylon down at this little choke as opposed to this big choke over here, and I've actually had some success with holding off like 8 pools and such with the pylon here, which is why I do it. Normally I will put the pylon here, but I think in the last couple Zerg games on this map I had been early pooled because Zerg's kind of like, oh, free win if I can 6 pool and you're forge fast expanding out here, which can sometimes be the case depending on how late you scout them and stuff like that. So I am putting the pylon down here, and it looks like I'm not scouting after the pylon. I'm actually going to wait to scout after I throw down the forge, I think. And there I got 150, and I throw down the forge right up here. There we go. And then just continuing to chrono boost probes until I get hit around 300 minerals, and then I'll stop making probes and get my nexus down. He, meanwhile, has not chosen to kind of go the cheesy build of the 10 pool or 8 pool or anything like that. He's going standard 13 pool, going speedling expand. And this is pretty much the safest build a Zerg player can do against Protoss. If you go not Nexus, if you go Hatch first against a Protoss, sometimes they will try to cannon you out, kind of throw cannons behind here, or wall this off with cannon or with pylons and put the cannons kind of behind. And that's really annoying for Zerg players to deal with. As you can see, he's positioned as Overlord here to spot any type of cannon rush to his expansion, which he will throw up shortly. I'm going to be scouting his position next, and looks like I ran by the watchtower just to see if I could get a glimpse of any Overlord floating around. Did not see that. And why am I going? Do I know? Oh, you know what? Yeah, okay, so he scouted me here. And this, I'm not sure if it threw me off because this was an early scout. I don't actually think it was an early scout, but for some reason, I thought from the timing of this scout here that I saw that he was over here because I assumed he had scouted from this direction here first, as opposed to coming down here. And it turns out he had actually scouted this way first. So that's what threw me off. I realized he's not here, and now I've scouted, I've scouted both positions that he's not. And the last position I will scout is his own position. So, looks like he got a couple Zerglings. He's going for his hatch now. Got his queen out, and he's pumping, he should be pumping drones shortly. Getting his speed now, and sometimes is he making? Yeah, so he's making a second queen. A lot of Zerg players do this. They make the second queen at the main, and this just allows them to throw down a creep tumor right here and just connect their bases with creep early. And look at this. So I don't realize, this is my vision here, I don't realize that there's an Overlord right here. And so I'm like, oh, I'm just going to cannon rush this guy because his Overlord's way over here. I mean, he can't possibly know that I have a pylon here. And yeah, perfect reaction. You don't need that many lings. He's overreacting by getting these extra ones here. You don't need that many lings to counter this. Even I'm not sure if it's 3, but I know definitely 4 Zerglings will out DPS a pylon building every time. So you really don't need to worry about getting unless I threw up maybe 3 cannons at once, something really all-in-ish like that, but no. So he played it very cautiously. I think overreacted a little bit, and if you look, those lings could have been drones, and I've actually chrono boosted out a lot of probes. At 6:30 minutes in the game, I almost have 40, so I've been ecoing like a madman, and looks like I'm getting pylons just to ring my base. Sometimes Zerg players will kind of go the Nidus route, but that's pretty rare. But just in case, throw up the pylons around the map so you kind of see the interior of your base. And Now he's going roaches, so yes. I think I've mentioned in my previous videos about the roach all-in, and this is a kind of variation of it. It hits a bit later. Sometimes the roach all-in, if it's a fast one, will hit around this time right now. He's just getting out roaches now though, so it'll take a little while for him to get over to my base. Meanwhile, I am throwing up not a Stargate, which is very common when you forge fast expand, but I'm actually going 7 gate. Yeah, 7 gate. So, yeah, I mean, this is a build that Zergs have had a little bit of trouble dealing with, just the mass gateway type of style, but lately, I haven't had that much success with it. The reason I'm doing it now is because, I don't know, I felt that I had ecoed up so much. I really didn't want to throw down 2 Stargates just because I had so much money. I'd kind of delayed getting tech. I was kind of debating what to go, and I kind of made this a last-minute decision, which is really, honestly, not too good of an idea. You usually want a pre-game plan, or at least on the loading screen, you kind of want to make a plan. I didn't really have that much of a plan going into this, but look at this. This is the Roach all-in. This is a heavier hitting, but later timing Roach all-in. And my warp gate just finished, so I really need to hold on here. He has put himself 20 supply in the lead. He's targeting down my my cannons here. Good move, as the cannons do so much DPS roaches. Great force vizier. I need to throw one up here. There it goes. I trap these 3 roaches in. They can't get anywhere, but unfortunately I don't have the army to DPS this units down, and he's just rallying lings. Rallying roaches, rallying lings. I am desperately trying to get out these stalkers here. These guys really need to get into the fight. You should be targeting down my... There he goes. So, I really need to get these stalkers out of the way. I'm working on Blink, chrono boosting Blink like crazy. I have +1 attack done, which is helping a little bit, and working on +1 armor. And just warping in as many stalkers as I can. And great move by him. As soon as he realized I had a stalker heavy army, he's been rallying in lings as opposed to roaches. He is floating a bit of money though, and I would like to see him kind of throw up an expansion here, or yeah, an expansion, or maybe more tech, maybe a Hydro extend or something. But he is floating a little bit of money, and I've actually I haven't really. Oh, great surround here. Oh, and good blink. But the sentries kind of are taking the damage. That's one thing the sentry is not good for. You don't want to take damage with sentries. Good force field here, trapping these guys in, and I think I've barely been able to hold at the cost of 19 workers. Look at the income tab. During this whole battle, I had to pull probes. I had to. Oh, he was fighting. He was targeting down some of my probes down here, and now I am 24 harvesters to 31. And I actually had more harvesters. I had about 10 more harvesters than him when he attacked, and when he was, although he was able to do a bit of damage, I'm only 10, roughly. I'm even catching up now, just because I'm chrono boosting workers out. I have full chrono boost here. I could have chrono boosted gateways. That's something I should have done better during that one attack, but he really hasn't done the economic damage he needed. I mean, I basically caught up in harvester count already, even though he's killed 19 workers. But the units lost tab is definitely in his favor still. And now look at this, good move by him. He sees me pushing out, and he knows I'm going to push out because I need to do damage because I don't have that much of an economy, and he's just going to counterattack to force me not to attack him, but instead to defend my base, which is a great tactical decision by him. And he's actually going to target down his pylon, which is powering 3 gateways. So that's not good. And I actually built a cannon here during the attack, thinking that he would do a run by. I was kind of in the adrenaline pumping state I was in during the attack. Kind of threw it down here. I should have thrown it down over here, but it looks like it got 1 kill. So, and I throw up another cannon once I realized that he's not afraid to do run-bys, and I have to repower these gateways here. But yeah, I am actually ahead in harvesters. This guy, I think he was too afraid that I was going to push with the army that killed his all-in attack, and he's playing it super cautious. Okay, despite the huge economic deficit I was in when he did his push, I've actually caught up, and I've even surpassed him by 10. He really needs to work on that. He really needs to be droning up right now. He even has a macro hatch, but he doesn't have the money. Well, he does have the money, but he doesn't have the drones to kind of support. I mean, look at this. Terrible saturation. This is awful. This is better, but I'm not sure why you rallied those drones over there, and that's a little bit oversaturated. This really needs to get more saturated. But I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I know he had a lot of money, but he really could have used it on drones instead of a macro hatch. And he was trying to, he broke down the rocks here, and I'm actually pushing up. This, I definitely overextended here. A great surround by his lings. He just brings us in just to trap the stalkers. I try to force field out, but I mean that's really not doing much. I really need to blink out. There we go. I blink out. These guys are sacrificed in the name of fire, and my stalkers are trying to scoot and shoot their way back home. But so yeah, his army actually paid off. I really did overextend there. I thought that I glimpsed only a handful of these roaches. I didn't realize he had all those lings back there, and I thought I could take what he had. But it turns out no. So now the supplies, he's been ahead of supply all game, which he should be. Zerg should be ahead of supply to a Protoss player. And I have a bit of money, and let's see, oh, okay, so I'm throwing up double robo. I saw all his roaches, and I know he's low on tech. I'm not sure if I scouted his, no, I have not scouted his lair. What has he scouted at me? So he's, well, yeah, he got inside my base, but no, he does not know about these two since I just threw them up. And I'm getting another forge. So getting another forge just to double up upgrades. He was trying to take me up by surprise, realized he couldn't. Has to get out of there, and finally taking a third. I really would have liked to see a third. And look, Dark Templar. I had texted Dark Templar doing this, and I'm doing great amounts of damage. I have this one coming up into the main, and taking out the queen here, 2 attack, 1 armor. Great upgrades. And his lings are not upgraded at all, I believe. 1 attack. So he's able to take out that Dark Templar. This guy is still hacking away. Really should not be attacking the spawning pool here. Should go through this queen or something more productive. Lings is less productive than the spawning pool. But I'm focused on macro right now. I got my expansion coming up. Those Dark Templar were kind of to get me to force his mindset into a defensive one. He's been on the aggressive basically all game, except for the little failed push I had up here, and I really need to get him into the defensive position just to make him scared a little bit, and I succeeded in doing that. Because of this proxy pylon here, that's where the Dark Templar came from. And if you look at the production tab, he's getting, let's see, tunneling claws for his roaches, but I have great upgrades. The double forge really allows me to chrono boost upgrades out so fast. I'm almost at level 2 armor. I already have plus two weapons, so my upgrades are just great this game. He hasn't had any Roach upgrades. He has +1 attack on his lings, but yeah, I mean, the upgrades really do play a huge difference here. So we'll see how that plays out later in this game. Now, I have thrown down my Robotics Bay, but I think I should not have thrown out 2 of these, because to get these bases saturated, I really didn't have the money to produce any Colossi at all, let alone the double time Colossi here. Looks like I have a Dark Templar kind of scouting the map. I need to make sure he doesn't have any expansion, so as you can see, I'm kind of running these Dark Templar. I kind of scouted all these bases, here, just to make sure he didn't have any ninja expansions anywhere, which is good to always keep tabs on where the Zerg is expanding, because if you let him macro up too much, then he'll just overrun you, so you really need to be on top of scouting. It's very important in PvC. And likewise, there's his vision. He's been keeping tabs on me. He's kind of run overlords over here. It must be a ling that darted over there. Could take these towers. I think once you have map vision, you kind of you really should take the towers. There's really no reason not to. You could have seen this pylon a lot earlier. It looks like he's burrowed, and he's going to be kind of coming in here. I have a couple cannons here, but my forces are right here. Oh, this probe. I want to be a zealot. I want to be in your army. No. So it looks like he's going to be taking out the cannons here. Got 1 cannon, I believe, but he sees these 2 immortals, and I blink up to try to catch one roach here. Nope, doesn't look like it. This guy needs to go back to work. He wants to roll with the cool kids, but no. Your job is to mine gas. So once you get that, there we go. You can have the glory of building defenses. So I chrono boosted out some observers, and now I'm getting Colossi. Now these guys are coming into, now the double robotics facility is coming into use, as I'm fully saturated. look at the income tab. I'm doing pretty decently in harvester count. This guy really needs to up his harvester count. I mean, 56 for a Zerg player. This is pretty well saturated. This is fairly well saturated. This is not saturated at all, but I can sort of understand it. But he really needs to take another base. I mean, he has a lot of gas. I'm not sure if he's going infestors. Yeah, he is going infestors, so that's a good move by him. If you're ever floating gas as a Zerg, infestors or mutas are the two big ways to kind of sink gas costs. Protoss has the opposite problem. You really are gas starved the whole time. Sentries just cost so much. I only have a couple sentries. That's because I've been focusing on getting out these Colossi double time. And I'm actually throwing up a Nexus down here, and he's scouted this, I believe. Yep, he scouted that. And he sees my army coming up here. I need to take out this Ling. There we go. And he takes out this pylon over here, but I have... Oh, that's a quick death. It's burrowing to heal. Look how fast roaches regenerate. That's so good. And he's actually doing a double-pronged attack. Now, this is really good by him. The Protoss ball is called the Protoss ball because it really doesn't want to split itself up. It wants to stay together because that is how the strength of the Protoss really works. It's when it's all together, when there's like a million laser beams coming out of this little ball of death. But he's actually splitting up his army, which will make me have to split up mine. And look, there he goes. And I warp in Dark Templar. I see he doesn't have an Overseer, so these Dark Templar are just going to just slice and dice their way undisturbed. I warp in more Dark Templar here. I really need to run these pros away. I'm not doing so. And massive confusion. Look at what am I doing? He actually focuses down the Nexus, which is great. But I meant to that. That's just awful. I meant to split. Oh my gosh! I meant to split up my army into two chunks, but for some reason my hotkeys weren't working, or maybe I hotkeyed them wrong, or just in the chaos I realized that no, I'm not moving two separate army components to either side to deal with it. I'm moving one. Thankfully, the Dark Templar over there to clean it up, and let's see. I'm still ahead in harvesters. How much damage did he do? I've actually killed 13 of his workers, I think, in forays, and he's killed a lot of mine, but I do have a way better saturation than he does. And now I'm just pushing out. I have a lot of Colossus, and I have Dark Templar, which I could morph to Archons. I think it would be wise to do so. But I think I'm just going to brute force my way up here. And if you look at the production tab, yeah, just rebuilding the Nexus down here, but we have an engagement up here. He needs some micros and infestors. I'm not sure what he's doing. I blinked my stalkers up there, and now he knows this, but it's way too late. I killed like every infestor, and he got one fungal growth on to decloak the Templars, and he calls for GG. Yeah, so this was I don't want to say standard PvZ, but it was a fairly good PvZ. Generally, Protoss players will go Stargate, and you kind of see the Stargate mix, or they'll go kind of the big gateway style, and the gateway style is kind of exhibited here. Just shows the power of macro. He really needed to have more workers in this. He really needed more bases. Even base for Zerg. I mean, I was on 4 bases here, but basically I was on 3 for a while, and he was on 3. I mean, you really need, look how much money he has, you really need to kind of take the map. You need to have map control, or he had map control a lot of times, but he didn't use it. You need to kind of expand all over the place, like put an expansion here, put expansion over here, so that I have to split my army up to run over there. And like I said before, the Protoss ball is best grouped up. So you really don't want to split it up, and when you force expansions all over the map, it really forces the Protoss player to kind of take them one at a time, which is really not advantageous to him. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will have more games out in the future. Comment, rate, subscribe, and yeah, thanks guys.